It's your man JGR Report, and welcome to the College Football Weekly Wrap-Up, Week 15. Y'all know how we get it in, so let's get it in. Wrapping up the top 5 ball games of the weekend, so let's get right to it. Now, this was the final weekend. College Football Championship weekend, right before boys find out who the top 4 in the college football playoffs is going to be. So now, let's go to the first ball game. Let's go to the de facto Big 12 championship game. Well, number 9, Kansas State, goes out to play number 6, Baylor. Now, Baylor goes to work on these boys, comes in here and wins this ball game 38-27. Art Browse wins his second straight Big 12 title. Now, here's the problem. Baylor wins the tiebreaker with TCU. However, the old dumb commissioner of the Big 12 gets up on the stage and says that they are called the co-champions. And the reason he's doing this, bruh, is because if he's got co-champion on here, he's got 2 teams to bid on when it comes to the college football playoff. He's trying to sell both these duns, TCU and Baylor. But Art Browse ain't having it. His dun is fired up because he's trying to play both of them. I get it, but I do get why get why he's doing it. But Bill Snyder ain't trying to have it, bro. Bill Snyder, 147 years old. Game's over. He trying to get off his feet, trying to get them bunions taken care of. He should be done by now. But I'm going to tell you. Let's move on to the next ball game. Now, let's go out to the Pac-12. Friday night, we had number 7, Arizona. Shows up to play number 2, Oregon. Now, here's the deal. The Oregon Ducks go out there and go to work on these boys. Beat them 51-13. Marcus Mariota pretty much solidified the Heisman Trophy. Came out there and put up 313 yards, threw for 2, ran for another 3. The Oregon offense put up 629 yards, a total offense versus 224. I'm going to say this. Arizona beat these boys twice before. Matter of fact, Marcus Mariota had only lost 4 ball games in his entire career, and 2 of them was to dull Arizona. But Arizona and dull Rich Rodriguez go out here and wet the bed, got the bubble guts, turned into Willie Beeman on a boy. throwing up all over the field, bruh. Got out there and got embarrassed. So now, Oregon solidifies itself in the top 4. So let's move on to the next ball game. Now, here we go. Let's go down to the ACC. We got number 4, Florida State. Shows up to play number 11, Georgia Tech. Now, everybody in their mama's mama is sitting around waiting on Florida State to lose. Florida State comes into this ball game on a 28-game winning streak. They barely getting by, boys, but they win it. And all you got to do is win the game. Because if the wins and the losses don't count, then why are we even keeping score? So now, they go into this ball game, barely squeaks out of here like they constipated, 37-35. Jameis Winston goes to work, puts up 309 yards, 3 touchdowns. They put up a total of 489 yards of total offense on these boys. Hey, Dalvin Cook shows up, 31 yards, 31 carries, 177 yards. Now, all the haters are upset because famous Jameis made the Final 4. They've been sitting around waiting on the Wicked Witch's toes to curl up, and they still didn't curl up. I told you they weren't going to curl up. Now, here's the problem. They got Florida State ranked at number 4 going into this doggone weekend, and Alabama number 1. Alabama took care of business in the SEC championship. So now, you got the team that hadn't lost a ball game in 29 tries, now sitting at the number 4 spot in the worst seeding of all. They got to show up and play the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, let's move on to the SEC. Speaking of Alabama, you got number 1, Alabama. Goes down to Atlanta to play number 16, Mizzou. Let me say that again, bro. Mizzou. Hey, Alabama showed up, beat the brakes off these boys, 42-13. Blake Seal went to work, had 262 yards, 2 touchdowns to win the 24th conference championship. 24th SEC championship. Stop telling me about the entire conference of the SEC. Let's start talking about Alabama, because Alabama is running these boys. They are like the street thug, the OG, the boy that's running the doggone yard in the prison. Alabama is the real deal. Stop telling me about the whole conference, because we just saw old Dub Mizzou play for 2 SEC championships in a row and get the brakes beat off from me. So now, let's just talk about Alabama. Now, let's move on to the next ball game. Let's go to the one everybody wants to talk about. Let's go down to Indianapolis. We got the Big Ten championship with number 13, Wisconsin. Shows up to Indianapolis to play number 5, Ohio State. Now, I gave these boys the blues going into this ball game. I figured it'd be a moot point because Ohio State wouldn't show up because they got Cordell Jones was going to take over for Barrett, and then he would just fall apart. I figured he was going to pull a Willie Beeman on the boys, but he didn't. He showed up with the work on these boys. Put up 257 yards, 3 touchdowns, got the MVP. They beat the brakes off Wisconsin 59-0. So now, I owe an apology to Cordell Jones, his mama's mama, Uncle Leroy, Juju and them down at the candy store, everybody in Cleveland. Because this boy went to work. Now, Ohio State should end up in the top 4. In my opinion, because Ohio State hadn't lost a regular season game, a conference game in 2 years, these boys went undefeated in the conference this year, showed up in the conference championship, and beat the brakes off the best running attack in college football, held Melvin Gordon in check. With a third-team quarterback, you got to put Ohio State in the joint. And here's the reason why. Baylor and TCU both have losses in the Big 12. TCU got beat heads up against Baylor. And then Baylor played a dull non-conference schedule. They were so dull. They played SMU, who hadn't won a game until yesterday, bruh. Then they played Northwestern State and Dub Buffalo. You can't get in playing Dub Buffalo. You can't do it. So the Buckeyes get in the joint, which what I'm saying, if they don't put the Buckeyes in, it's a highway robbery, bruh. It's already highway robbery that you don't have Florida State ranked number 1 on a 29-game winning streak. I'm just saying. So we're going to sit in the cut. We got 2 hours to see what they going to do with this doggone playoff, and you're going to hear from me again later today. It's your man, Jay Graves Report. We're from the JGravesReport.com, and you can hit me up on Twitter at JGravesReport so you can holler at your boy.